Chapter 86, Training. I half a month had unknowingly and quickly passed. Within this half a month, apart from taking care of the spirit herbs, Enriching spent the rest of her time in training with the help of the spiritual force from the Book of Spirit Herbs. Luckily, nobody disturbed her these past few days so she could focus on her training. At this moment in the room, a young woman who was practicing her cultivation with her eyes closed suddenly opened her eyes. She slowly exhaled a breath of foul air. Her lips curved into a gentle smile. Finally, I have reached a higher rank of beginner warrior tier within half a month. However, I still have a long way to go in my cultivation training. One day, I believe I can prove to everyone that Nalan Empress' daughter is not someone weak. The young woman's face was still chubby, but her defined face outline had started to show a little. It was not a whole bunch of fat layers anymore. Her eyes were full of strong determination and bright hope. When Enriching pushed the door and stepped out, she saw a youth standing under a nearby willow tree. He had pretty and delicate features like fine jade. His eyes were shiny and mesmerizing. He smiled a little and his gaze drifted to Enriching, who was walking out of the room. "Ching, you have become thinner again." Every time Ching stepped out from the room, he would realize that she had lost some weight. However, the current Ching looked prettier than before. "Chainer, I want to go somewhere, so please accompany me." Enriching sighed. Although she had lost some weight with the help of the herbal dish, it would take a long time for her to be slim due to the original owner's overly obese body. It was not easy at all. "I will accompany you wherever you go." Qin Chen looked at Enriching with a piercing stare. In this lifetime, he would follow her no matter where she wanted to go. "I would never leave you in this lifetime." The backyard of the Imperial Palace on the Forbidden Mountain, Enriching curled up into a ball. She was trembling while hugging her knees tightly. Her face was pale. Enriching. It was her fault. Why? Both of them were the Emperor's daughters, but why did only Enriching get to enjoy all the love and affection despite being obese and ill-mannered? Father still pampered her and showered her with love. However, even though she was better, Father never looked at her even once. Cold. It was so cold. Enriching bit her lip hard, her eyes were filled with hatred as she dug her nails into her palms. Schwanger. All of a sudden, a familiar voice could be heard from the front. Enriching quickly raised her head and lifted herself from the ground. Her eyes glimmered with excitement and joy. In the distance, she could see Lu Rong walking hurriedly toward her. She could not stand waiting for Lu Rong to come in, so she rushed to her instantly. "Concubine mother, is father finally concerned about me and wants to release me from here? Where is he? Why isn't he here? This place is really not for humans. It is not only freezing, but I also have to be alert of the spirit beasts around here. I am really scared." Looking at Enriching's red eyes, Lu Rong's heart sank. She held her daughter's cold hands and sighed. "Those ministers have pleaded to His Majesty to release you, but he still dragged it for a few days. I came to see you here once my punishment was over." Lu Rong's reputation was extremely bad among the ministers simply because she had cheated the iron-blooded token from Enriching. However, comparing both Enriching and Enriching, those ministers would still side with Enriching. Even though this situation persisted, His Majesty still resisted the pressure and locked her up for this long. If she continued being locked up there, who knew what the spirit beasts would do to her? That was why he finally agreed to let her off. Chapter 87, Training 2, Concubine Mother. Am I really father's biological daughter? I don't understand. Both of us are his daughters, but why can't I get his affection and love? Enriching lashed out in anger. Is it because I am not Empress Nalan's daughter? Schwanger. Lu Rong's voice sounded harsher. She asked in a trembling voice, what did you just say? Feng Rishuang shivered after hearing her stern voice. She pouted a little. Concubine mother, I didn't mean it that way. I am just blaming father for his bias. Enough, don't speak anymore. Nalan Yan, this woman again. She had snatched away His Majesty's heart, and now even Schwanger wished to have a mother like her. Schwanger, listen to me. Lu Rong inhaled deeply and held Feng Rishuang's shoulders tightly. Nalan Yan is nobody but a mink who seduced His Majesty with her charms. You must be more excellent than her daughter, then the people will realize that His Majesty's previous choice was a mistake. Feng Rishuang stared blankly and lowered her head. She was confused as to why Feng Ruqing had somehow changed after waking up from her coma. I have been the evil villain for so many years. Everyone knows about how I cheated Feng Ruqing of her iron-blooded token and they loathe me for that, but you are not the same. I have nurtured you this way so that the people would realize how amazing you are. No matter how bad Feng Ruqing's reputation was in the people's eyes, Empress Nalan was still their beloved heroine. She had tricked the iron-blooded token into her hand, that was why they had a bad impression of her. There was only one aim for all the wicked things that she had done, to turn Feng Ruqing into someone stubborn and obstreperous so that she could be a good contrast to Schwanger excellence. She believed that her Schwanger would become the best woman in the world, and the only one who suited the state preceptor. Concubine mother, I understand. Feng Rishuang stayed silent for a while before raising her head and looking at Lu Rong. I know what I should do. I am not satisfied to be stepped over by a useless fatty. I will prove to father that choosing Feng Ruqing over me is his worst mistake ever. She was pretty and clever, apart from being gentle and cute. What about Feng Ruqing? She was not only obese and ugly, but she was also a lazy and useless person. How could that kind of person be compared to her? She was unworthy. Lu Rong's facial expressions finally softened a little. She smiled. This is how my daughter should be. By the way, previously you have led those ministers' children in researching the cure for a thigh injury. Is there any progress? Feng Rishuang laughed out loud. Concubine mother, Nalan Dyer is beautiful at such a young age. She will be a femme fatale when she grows up and maybe she will become a threat to Luyun Kingdom later. I took advantage of Feng Ruqing to destroy her beauty for her own sake. How is it possible for me to really heal her thigh scar? Only people like Lu Yueying would fully trust her. However, thanks to Feng Ruqing, without this opportunity given by her, she would not be able to rescue those people from being scolded by Feng Ruqing. And those people would never be this loyal to her. Good then. Time is getting late. Let's leave this place first. Lu Rong's face was plastered with a smile. She turned and walked down the Forbidden Mountain. Not far away from the Forbidden Mountain, a palace maid was looking suspiciously around the place. Once Lu Rong walked down with Feng Rishuang, she quickly rushed to them and bowed respectfully. This servant has come to pay respects to noble consort, princess. Let's go. Lu Rong waved her hand to dismiss the palace maid's bow and headed to the front. Chapter 88, Neglected Feng Rishuang at Qinhuai Riverside, Paramount. There were many talented young people already seated. Noise poured from the restaurant, sometimes it was mixed with the giggling sounds of the young ladies. At this moment, a youth spotted Feng Rishuang standing at the door. He quickly stood up and greeted her happily. Princess, you are finally out. The laughter ceased abruptly. Everyone diverted their eyes to Feng Rishuang. A glimpse of surprise flashed through their eyes. They did not expect to see her at this meeting. Feng Rishuang smiled faintly. Some time ago, I had annoyed His Majesty because of sister. That was why father had locked me up in the Forbidden Mountain. Fortunately, father had finally found out the truth and released me from that place. The hidden meaning in her words hinted that she was locked in the Forbidden Mountain because Feng Ruqing had purposely accused her of something she did not do in front of Feng Tianyu. And now that Feng Tianyu had found out that he had blamed her wrongly, she was released. In the past, many would have voiced their support to Feng Ruquang after she had said something like this. However, this time, the whole of Paramount was dead silent. Everyone looked so awkward and did not know how to react to Feng Ruquang's words. What's wrong? Feng Ruquang frowned in confusion. She was locked up for half a month. Why? She felt that something had happened during her absence. Second princess, you're locked up because of the Princess Royal. Zhao Yang uttered his question after a moment of silence. Feng Ruquang was not like Feng Ruqing. She usually had a good temper, so even though he had questioned her in this way, she would not get irritated. That was why he had dared to say something like this. Feng Ruquang smiled bitterly while shaking her head. Let's not talk about this matter anymore. As long as all of you know she is my older sister, that's enough. She lost her mother since she was young, so my concubine mother treats her with more compassion. I respect and love her too. No matter what she has done, I will always forgive her. Her eyes were shining brightly. Her lips curved into a mesmerizing smile that could capture everyone's heart. However, Feng Ruquang lowered her gaze and sighed. Although I can forgive whatever she has done to me, I cannot forgive her for what she has done to Dyer. In fact, she had purposely accused me and caused me to be locked up at the Forbidden Mountain to stop me from researching for a cure for Dyer's scar. Paramount fell into a pin-drop silence. Suddenly, a melodious voice like a flowing stream came from the entrance. Seems like I came at the wrong time. This voice was a nightmare to Feng Ruquang. Her body slightly stiffened. She clenched her fists tightly and tried to control her emotions from within while remained smiling. Once she turned around, she gave a bright and mischievous sweet smile. Sister, how come you are here? This woman, Feng Ruqing, didn't she know that these royal young masters and mistresses loathed her to the bone? How could she still appear in front of them? When Feng Ruquang saw the silhouette at the door, her smile froze instantly. Her eyes widened in disbelief. Last time, whenever she saw Feng Ruqing, she would have put on some weight. She had not seen her for nearly 1 month and somehow she felt that this woman had lost some weight. Although her current body size was still considered fat, what Feng Ruquang could not stand was the fact that she had slimmed down. Chapter 89, Neglected Feng Ruquang 2, Sister. Feng Ruquang regained her composure. She dug her nails into her palms to control her overwhelming emotions from exploding. She smiled sweetly. I have seen you just not long ago, you have become thinner. It must be because the food at the Princess Manor is not as good as in the palace. Why don't you follow me back to the palace? Empress Nailan was very beautiful, so Feng Ruqing too had fine and delicate features since young. Thus, her concubine mother had put a lot of effort to turn her into an obese girl. She would not let their few years of effort wasted for nothing. Feng Ruqing squinted and smiled. Sister Ruquang, I bet you do not want to see me slim down. That's why you are so desperate to drag me back so that I will fatten up again. Feng Ruquang's smile became harder to fake. She faked a laugh. Sister, you've misunderstood me. I just miss you. If you do not follow me back, I will be alone. How boring would that be? Oh, really? If you missed me, why don't you accompany me to the Beast Court again this afternoon? I feel like going there again. Feng Ruqing smirked and turned to Feng Ruquang. Feng Ruquang stiffened when she thought of how Feng Ruqing had tricked her to pay for the bill. Her face instantly paled, but she held herself back from saying anything. Looking at Feng Ruqing's constipated expression, Feng Ruqing sneered and walked past her to the young people's group. Feng Ruquang bit her lip hard and remained silent. She was still confused about Feng Ruqing's presence here. Everyone was afraid of her and hated her appalling behavior, so nobody would give a damn about her later. As she expected, the paramount became even quieter as nobody dared to make a noise when Feng Ruqing stepped inside. Their facial expressions were unreadable and complicated. "Sister, since you are already here, you may join us in the research for scar healing." A hint of mockery flashed through Feng Rushwang's eyes instantly before she started to look vulnerable. "It doesn't matter whether the people who are present here welcome you or not, I will always stay by your side." She averted her gaze to the rest of the people and continued, "All of you please be seated. Not long ago, I have discussed with the imperial physician for a few days and nights and we have come out with some new ideas. As long as it can help Dyer, I am willing to put in more effort." Ahem. Xiao Yang became more awkward. This time he did not respond to Feng Rushwang but stared at Feng Ruqing. "Your Royal Highness, last time, you gave us a method and Mu Qinger had someone to test it out. It worked really well. I would like to know how you came out with such a method." Last time, all of them did not believe in Feng Ruqing's words. They even refused to believe that this evil princess did have some real talent. However, Mu Qinger had found someone to test out the method. It could really heal the scar. Although it had just lightened the scar a little, this small progress had given them some hope. Feng Rushwang's face stiffened. Her unfinished words were stuck in her throat, which made her feel very uncomfortable. The method given by Feng Ruqing managed to heal the scar. Impossible. This Feng Ruqing only knew how to eat and sleep apart from creating trouble. She was useless. She could not possess such ability. Actually, Feng Ruqing shrugged and smiled sweetly. "We must thank noble consort Rong for all of this. Because of her, I love eating pork trotters. There was a time when I had accidentally injured my hand and this herbal dish had healed my scars." Chapter 90, Gigolo. Herbal dish. Xiao Yang asked dazedly. "Yes, herbal dish." Feng Ruqing diverted her eyes to everyone who was present and continued, "Everyone knows that I have a kitchen in my serene palace. I love eating and have a lot of free time. So I usually cook the herbs and food together. They always end up as herbal dishes. Spirit herbal cuisine and regular herbal cuisine contain similar ingredients. In fact, spirit herbs originated from ordinary herbs which later turned into spirit herbs after absorbing more spiritual qi. Thus, Feng Ruqing only needed to slightly modify her spirit herbal dish, so regular people could cook it too. However, its effect was just 1/10 of a spirit herbal dish. Feng Rushwang dug her nails into her palms hard. Herbal cuisine. Feng Ruqing did not even understand anything about pharmacology. How could she know about herbal cuisine? "Sister," Feng Rushwang approached Feng Ruqing with a faint smile. Her eyes were filled with innocence and confusion. "Since when did you know pharmacology theories?" "Based on my understanding, herbs and food ingredients cannot be cooked together. What if the effects of the ingredients clashes with each other, wouldn't it result in death?" Feng Ruqing maintained her smile. "Since you care about people's life, next time when I cook a herbal dish, why don't you try it first?" Feng Rushwang's face stiffened. Test the herbal dish. Who knew what she would put in the herbal dish? Wouldn't it be putting her own life in danger? Besides, even if she was poisoned for real, His Majesty would never blame Feng Ruqing at all. "Sister, you like to joke with me. How would I ever doubt your ability? By the way, I saw Lu Yuchen and Tan Shuangshuang some time ago. I never knew that they love each other so much. However, Lu Yuchen said you are still bothering him, so I implore you to stop being stubborn." Feng Rushwang's expressions seemed very genuine and that made nobody doubt her words. These past few days, Although Feng Rishuang was locked up at the Forbidden Mountain and completely unaware of what was happening outside of the palace, she was confident that Feng Ruqing would not give up on Lu Yuchen that easily. Thus, the words she claimed were said by Lu Yuchen were true, but simply her prediction. However, she did not notice that the young people looked astonished after she had finished talking. As far as the people of the imperial city concerned, Feng Ruqing was considered as a well-known person. Everybody knew about her. The incident that had happened between Lu Yuchen and her at Southern Street had spread among the people like wildfire. Lu Yuchen was the one who had stopped Feng Ruqing, but she did not even as much as glance at him. Moreover, Feng Ruqing rarely left the Princess Manor recently. How could the rumor of her bothering Lu Yuchen even start? Once Feng Ruqing listened to Feng Rushuang's words, she laughed silently. She responded, "I did not know that I am constantly bugging Lu Yuchen. I thought Lu Yuchen still misses me. That was why he had blocked me on the street and prevented me from leaving." Feng Rishuang was dumbfounded. Lu Yuchen had stopped Feng Ruqing on the street. Was this possible? Lu Yuchen had always avoided her. He could not have behaved like this on the street. "Sister, I am giving you some advice because I don't want to see you doing something stupid." Feng Rishuang lowered her head looking dejected. Her eyes were red. "You never listened to me previously and insisted on getting married to Lu Yuchen. That was why you got into trouble." Everyone looked at Feng Rishuang in astonishment. Second princess. Mu Qing'er tugged at Feng Rushuang's sleeve as her face reddened. It is true that not long ago, Lu Yuchen had blocked the Princess Royal on the street. Of course, it did not mean that Lu Yuchen had fallen in love with this spoiled princess, but everyone knew that Feng Ruqing did not even look at Lu Yuchen that day. Moreover, Mu Qing'er hesitated before continuing. The Princess Royal brought back a gigolo from somewhere. Everyone knows about this too. Chapter 91, Look for Lu Yuchen at Lu Manor this time. Feng Ruqing's face completely darkened. Gigolo. Qin Qin. However, at this moment, Feng Rushuang's scowling face was contorted more than ever. This fatty didn't like Lu Yuchen anymore. How was it possible? Didn't she chase him around all day? How could she be willing to let him go? She put on a forced smile. She looked so pathetic and felt aggrieved. "Sister, I'm sorry. I don't know that it would turn out like this. I bumped into Lu Yuchen not long ago, and he told me this personally. I really didn't know that he is the one who keeps bothering you." She pushed the blame totally on Lu Yuchen so she could remain innocent and wash her hand off of the matter. In fact, Lu Yuchen was not there anyway. Nobody could prove whether she was right or wrong. "I have been deceived by this Lu Yuchen." Mu Qing'er muttered angrily, "Never thought he is such a manipulative person." People might believe in his false stories if the incident had not spread in the whole imperial city. Doesn't Lu Yuchen already have Tan Shuangshuang? He even ditched the princess just because of Tan Shuangshuang. Why is he asking for trouble? Zhao Yang frowned slightly as he could not understand the motive behind Lu Yuchen's action. On the contrary, nobody ever doubted Feng Rushuang. Seeing that the people had shifted their attention to Lu Yuchen, Feng Rushuang breathed a sigh of relief. Concubine mother told her that these ministers held important ranks in the government, so she must treat their children well and built a good rapport with them. In return, they would support and guide the Su family in the future. For the sake of the Su clan, she even intentionally let Feng Ruqing hurt these people. However, these ministers were still pretty loyal to General Nalan. That was why Feng Rushuang had started to hit on the ministers' children. If the medicinal paste produced by them did hurt Nalan Dyer, it would definitely cause bad blood between the Nalan clan and the ministers. That was the perfect opportunity for the Su family. The ministers would support them instead. However, this perfect plan might be ruined by Feng Ruqing's unexpected presence. Feng Rishuang raised her head carefully when she thought about her. She looked at Feng Ruching uneasily. Who knows what she would say out of sudden. That's it. Feng Ruching was fuming with anger. She lashed out exclaiming, I have nothing to do with Lu Yuchen anymore. Why does he keep tarnishing my reputation? I will look for Lu Yuchen for revenge at Lu Manor now. At that point, Feng Rushwang's face went pale at once. Her eyes darted around nervously and restlessly. What made her even more worried was the fact that since the herbal dishes had been successfully proven in healing scars, Lin Yueying and the rest had started to admire Feng Ruching. Although they did not openly express their admiration, it had been growing slowly in their hearts. Lu Yuchen has tarnished the prince's reputation. It's undoubtedly his fault. Princess, we can follow you to Lu Manor to look for him and hold him accountable. This also serves as my apology for my inappropriate behavior to you that day, Xiao Yang said firmly with utter sincerity. I will follow too. I want to know the reason behind Lu Yuchen's action. He does not even like Princess anymore, but is still trying hard to tarnish your name. Although all of them had hated Feng Ruching, none of them had ever tarnished her reputation. They were aware that Feng Ruching's damaged reputation would not bring any good to Lu Yun Kingdom but would only serve as a laughingstock to other kingdoms. Her reputation had always been really bad, so why should it be tarnished further? Thus, no matter how angry they would only mock her at the back but never disgrace her in public. Chapter 92. The Master of Paramount Feng Rushuang was shocked to see the people's reaction. She was just absent once, why, was everything now beyond her control? Maybe Lu Yuchen, he has some misunderstanding toward you. Feng Rushuang smiled a little, trying to reason out the whole thing. Sister, you did break the couple apart to get Lu Yuchen for yourself. So, it's quite understandable if he has misunderstood you. Please cool down, sister. You are at fault too, aren't you? She pleaded. Suddenly, everyone quietened down. It was undeniable that no matter how Feng Ruching had changed now, the past Feng Ruching had done a lot of malicious damage just to get Lu Yuchen during those days. Everyone was aware of her ill manners and wrongdoings, so it was normal for Lu Yuchen to be prejudiced against her. He could not be blamed for this. Feng Ruching sneered coldly. I am willing to admit all my mistakes in the past, but it doesn't mean that I will bear the false accusations thrown at me. Feng Rishuang, you are a princess of Lu Yun Kingdom too, the daughter of our father. Defaming my reputation is equal to a huge embarrassment to our father, and this is an unfilial act. Damaging our kingdom's reputation is a disloyal act. For someone unfilial and disloyal like you, who do you think you are to teach me a lesson? Feng Rushuang's face went red with embarrassment. Moreover, Feng Ruching smirked at Feng Rushuang and glared at her sharply. The corners of her mouth twitched. Nobody can simply teach me, Feng Ruching, a lesson. She was indeed arrogant and aggressive. Totally insufferably arrogant. Clap. 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 A round of applause could be heard from Paramount upstairs. Feng Ruching looked in the direction of the clapping. In a split second, she saw a gold and purple robe appear. Half of the guy's face was covered with a mask so she could not see his whole face. However, he seemed different from the people she had met before. Comparing to the state preceptor's cold and elegant looks, Qin Chen's innocent looks, this guy in front of her had a mysterious and demonic aura which unknowingly draw people to him. Is this the owner of Paramount? Why is he here? Actually, Paramount was involved in many trades which included herb shop, restaurant, bank, casino, and even spirit beast court. However, this owner usually preferred to stay out of the limelight and had rarely appeared in the restaurant. His remarkable and symbolic mask did announce his presence and identity to everyone who was present. A wise old man was reverentially standing next to the guy. The old man's facial expression was masked with indifference the whole time, as if nothing concerned him. The guy walked down the stairs steadily. His steps were elegant and confident. The smirk seemed to stay on his face. The pair of dark golden orbs gave off an eerie and strange feeling. Feng Ruqing felt as if she could not breathe. All of a sudden, she felt as though her heart was being squeezed with every step the guy took. This guy gave out a strong sense of pressure to the others, which caused the atmosphere around him to become slightly tense up. Staring at the guy who was walking toward Feng Ruqing, Feng Ruquang clenched her fists tightly, her eyes flared angrily. Feng Ruquang did not know what position and influence Paramount possessed in this country, but she was aware that even His Majesty would show them some respect. If she could win over Paramount, maybe His Majesty would think highly of the Lu family, and they could earn a better social status in the future. If Feng Ruqing came in contact with Paramount, the Lu family's chance of gaining favor would be lowered. Feng Ruqing, the daughter of Nalan Empress, is the most useless person in the world and has done countless terrible crimes by tormenting and oppressing people. Wicked, broke a couple apart, and committed all sorts of atrocious misdeeds. With every single word the guy said, Feng Ruqing's face darkened with rage. Her infamous reputation had spread like wildfire in everywhere that even the owner of Paramount knew about it. Chapter 93. The Master of Paramount. Feng Ruquang felt pleased in her heart. She walked toward Zhou Ming with her shimmering eyes, thinking she should make her presence known now. Master Zhou, please don't blame my sister. She was young and immature back then, so she had made a lot of mistakes. I am her younger sister, so naturally, I have to bear some responsibilities for her faults. Zhou Ming looked on sinisterly and threw Feng Ruquang a nasty glare. His lips curved up slightly and sneered in an arrogant and pompous manner. Who are you? Feng Ruquang felt humiliated, and she was stunned upon hearing it. Her face turned a little awkward, especially when Zhao Yang and the rest looked at her. She wished to bury herself in the hole. Master Zhou. I am Feng Ruqing's younger sister. Did Empress Nalan give birth to a pair of twins last time? Zhou Ming grinned scornfully. He did not even consider Feng Ruquang's face and reputation at all. Feng Ruquang's face flushed crimson with embarrassment. She bit her lip in shame. My mother is noble consult Rong. I am Feng Ruqing's half-sister, as we share the same father but different mothers. Oh, you're the daughter of a concubine. Zhou Ming mocked her with a disparaging look and snickered in a contemptuous tone. The children of a concubine are the people I hate the most in my life. You better watch out. Feng Ruquang was dumbfounded. She was shocked to find the owner of Paramount acting ignorant and couldn't care less about Luyun Kingdom. Although His Majesty did respect Paramount a little, it did not mean that Luyun Kingdom was afraid of it. Nevertheless, her concubine mother was still an honorable noble consort. How could she be compared to ordinary concubines? Currently, there was no empress in Luyun Kingdom, so her concubine mother would be the one to take over it one day. Feng Ruqing rubbed her nose in deep thought. She liked this guy's attitude. Yes, anyone who annoyed Feng Ruquang would be in her favor. What's wrong? Zhou Ming suddenly caught the young woman kept staring at him without blinking her eyes. He scoffed at her and asked, Have you fallen in love with me now? Feng Ruqing rolled her eyes. Get lost. She still preferred the elegant and cold state Preceptor over him. This guy was too wicked and arrogant. She was not willing to get in touch with such people. Perhaps if you can lose those fat flaps, I might consider you. Feng Ruqing scoffed. Maybe if you're willing to take down the mask. If you're good-looking enough, I might consider inviting you to my princess manor. What do you think? Such a pity that you wear this mask all day long. Your face must be too ugly to be seen by others. There are so many good-looking guys in the world, why should I choose you? Jiu Ming squinted. His dark golden orbs flashed. Nobody can see my real face in this lifetime. Otherwise, all women in this world would chase after me, wouldn't they? Why should I create trouble for myself? Feng Rushwang's face was even darker now. She had finally met someone who was more narcissistic than the state preceptor. Feng Ruching raised her hand and patted Jiu Ming's uncovered face. The moment her hand landed on Jiu Ming's face, the air molecules were frozen, and the old man beside him seemed to be extremely shocked to the point of having goosebumps. He quickly turned to look at the guy beside him. Master is usually a clean freak who did not allow people to touch him. How dare this woman touch Master's face? Hey, I have seen more good-looking men than you could imagine. Who do you think you are? Her state preceptor was still the most handsome man in the world. With the state preceptor by her side, how was it possible for her to fall in love with someone else? Qin Chen's looks were not bad too. Even though he had a scar on his face, it did not affect his handsome profile. Who did this guy think he was? You are very arrogant. Jiu Ming's eyes flashed with a malicious glare. Feng Ruching replied with a smile, as are you. Chapter 94, The Master of Paramount 3. Aren't you afraid that I might kill you? Jiu Ming asked with a deep low voice as a murderous aura started to surround him. This audacious woman had not only dared to touch his face, but she was so fearless as to insult him. I am so frightened now. Feng Ruching pretended to be scared, then she hit her chest a few times arrogantly. I am almost frightened to death now, but you were nowhere near when I, Feng Ruching, became aggressive the last time. She couldn't believe this guy had the guts to claim that all women went crazy for him. Was he trying to compare himself to her state preceptor's good looks? Her state preceptor was the most good-looking man in the world. She would not let anyone compare themselves to him. Never. The old man realized Jiu Ming's murderous aura had become more tense and darker. Beads of sweat started to form at his forehead. However, the cold and tense atmosphere which surrounded the people slowly disappeared after a short while. The usual peaceful environment of Paramount returned. Su Lao, let's go. Jiu Ming glared at Feng Ruching disdainfully from the corner of his eyes, brushed his sleeve, and turned to walk upstairs. Everyone was sweating cold sweat, obviously not recovered from their shock yet. Only Feng Ruching looked calm and cool. She sat down and took a piece of sweet cake and started to enjoy it. She did not even forget to make sure that the others to help themselves to the food. Why are you all still standing there? Help yourself with the food. After we have finished eating, I want to find Lu Yuchen for revenge. Everyone looked at each other dazedly. They were stunned to see Feng Ruching acting so calm as if nothing had happened. Aren't you afraid of him? Mu Qing'er blinked and asked hesitantly. Why should I be afraid of him? Feng Ruching's mouth twitched before continuing, he is just trying to intimidate people. He won't touch you for real. Since the moment she first laid her eye on Jiu Ming, she knew that this guy had another hidden motive. He did not come purposely just to mock her. There must be something fishy. Thus, she would wait for him to look her up again. When Feng Rushwang heard that Feng Ruching still did not give up looking for Lu Yuchen for revenge, her face went pale in a blink of an eye. Her hands were a little shaking, so she quickly hid it behind her back. Sister, maybe I have misheard it that day. Perhaps what Lu Yuchen was trying to say, maybe he won't stop bothering you. Oh, it is all right even if you have misheard it. It doesn't matter if he bothered me or I bothered him, I still want to look for him to settle some issues. Feng Ruching grinned happily. When she saw Feng Rushwang's facial expression become more awful, she couldn't help but feel good. Her lousy mood for not being able to see the state preceptor these few days were all gone. Xiao Yang and the rest of the people had been feeling guilty toward Feng Ruching at first. Now they were curious about the herbal dish, so all attention was given to Feng Ruching. On the contrary, Feng Ruchuang, who used to be the spotlight of the crowd, was neglected. She stared at Feng Ruching angrily for snatching all the attention, but nobody was paying attention to her, so she turned and walked away, heading outside. While answering questions from the group, Feng Ruching raised her head to find that Feng Ruchuang had left the place. She was smiling from her eyes. It served the purpose of her presence today. She had purposely attended this meeting to annoy Feng Ruchuang. Now Feng Ruchuang had already left, so she had no reason to stay longer. After bidding goodbye to everyone, she walked out of the restaurant. When she just came out from the entrance, the old man who was following Jiuming earlier was waiting there for her. He conveyed the message respectfully. "Princess Ruching, my master would like to meet you." Feng Ruching cocked her brow. "Lead the way then." Although this fellow had mocked her since the very beginning and had behaved in such a narcissistic way, she still had a good impression of him simply because he had given Feng Ruchuang a hard time. She would favor anyone who bullied Feng Ruchuang. "Your Royal Highness, this way please." The old man put his hand out with full respect. Chapter 95, The Master of Paramount for Paramount. On a ship not far away. Feng Ruching saw a man casually leaning against a chair just as she entered the place. The man seemed lazy and wicked. He put his hand on the armrest. His deep golden eyes were evil. He smiled slightly at the girl who had just walked in. The sound of a guzheng one could be heard on the ship. A beautiful young girl was playing the guzheng behind a veil. "Did you want to meet me because of the herbal dish?" Feng Ruching crossed her arms, raised her eyebrows and smiled at the man. The man did not answer Feng Ruching's question. He said lazily, "Come and sit beside me." Feng Ruching looked around the man. There was no chair. Her face had darkened. "Do you want me to sit down on the floor or sit on your lap?" "It's a blessing for you to sit beside me. So, it's not a big deal to sit on the floor." Feng Ruching said nothing. She was wrong. She wanted to retrieve the admiration she had for him. "Don't tell me you want to sit on my lap." The man smiled slightly. "I'm afraid that it'll be crushed under your weight. You can just sit on the floor." She wanted to hit him until he died. But how? Feng Ruching took a deep breath slowly. "Excuse me. I'll leave now." She turned. A ghost-like shadow appeared in front of her just as she was about to step out of the ship. The man smiled his best smile. It was only because she could not beat him. "Get lost." She roared. Jiuming's eyes narrowed. There was a flash of menace in his eyes. "Angry? What about this? He'll just let you sit on my lap, though I'm reluctant to do so. In fact, I can let you sit on my lap since you touched my face before." Feng Ruching was shocked. She was just slapping him then. It was a slap. After all, the only person she was willing to touch in this world was the state preceptor. Who could be compared to the state preceptor? "You can either talk business or get lost." Feng Ruching sneered. Jiuming smiled. His smile was very charming. Feng Ruching could not help but admit that. Jiuming was not even ugly, even though only half of his face was visible. She just did not know why Jiuming covered half of his face. Was there any scar on the other half of his face? Could he not show it to other people? Feng Ruching looked at Jiuming with sympathy when she thought of this. She could just forgive him this once because of the scar on his face. "Feng Ruching, I've known about your wicked doings all these years. I just cannot believe how you amaze me this time. It is no wonder that you're the daughter of Empress Nalan." Jiuming walked toward Feng Ruching. So, I want to work together with you this time. Work together. Yes, that's right. Just like you said. It's because of your herbal dish. If you sell those herbal dishes to me, it'll give you all the benefits you can imagine. Feng Ruqing asked excitedly, what kind of benefits? There's a spirit herbs shop in Paramount. Generally, we won't sell spirit herbs which are above grade 3 level. Grade 3 spirits herbs are sold in low quantities too. Even if we do sell them, they're sold quickly when they're on sale. But, I will give you a token of Paramount. You can use that token to buy any kind of precious spirit herbs in the shop. Jiu Ming smiled slightly. It'll sell you anything if you're able to pay for the price and that it's available in the spirit herbs shop. Feng Ruqing's interest soon disappeared. She thought Jiu Ming would give her some kind of benefits. But, it was just spirit herbs. Now, grade 3 spirit herbs were useless to her. They were also very expensive and could only be used as food for Fu Qin and Qing Han. She did not need that. She had better use her time to improve her strength and grow grade 3 spirit herbs one day. Chapter 96, Collaboration. I still have things to do. Excuse me. She stepped away, ready to leave. Jiu Ming's expression changed slightly. He blocked Feng Ruqing's path. What do you want then? Feng Ruqing stopped short after hearing the man's deep and evil voice. His eyes narrowed and there was a flash of light in his eyes. I want half of Paramount. Boom! Extreme anger exploded from Su Lao just as Feng Ruqing finished talking. There was great fury in the man's eyes instead as they lost all of their calmness. Princess, you're asking for too much. Do you know what Paramount means? How could you simply ask for half of it? Feng Ruqing was not angry. She smiled and said, of course I know. I also know the significance of my herbal dishes. My herbal dishes are delicious, they can also treat illnesses and save lives. They are even more effective than the herbs given by the doctor. If you have my herbal dishes, you can have all the profits you want. Su Lao was stopped by Jiu Ming just as he was about to say something in return. Jiu Ming smirked at Feng Ruqing. Little girl, aren't you afraid that I might kill you and snatch all your herbal dishes from you? Or I might just kill you after I take all your herbal dishes. Feng Ruqing smiled and pointed to her head. I have all the prescriptions for the herbal dishes in my mind. Furthermore, it'll create new herbal dishes too. If you kill me, you'll suffer more loss than you can imagine. In fact, Fu Qin and Qing Han were the ones who helped her to modify the herbal dishes. On a side note, China had so much power and spirit herbs were abundant. If they did not change the prescriptions, they most probably could modify ordinary herbal dishes until they become spirit herbal dishes. Spirit herbal dishes are Feng Ruqing's only bottom line. She did not want to reveal anything. Normal herbal dishes have only 1% of the spirit herbal dish's effectiveness. It did not affect Feng Ruqing. I cannot give half of Paramount to you. Jiu Ming glared at Feng Ruqing. His voice was soft but evil. But, half of all the profits from Paramount and the other restaurants and tea shops under its name will go to you. Moreover, you will be treated as an honorary elder in Paramount. How about that? Feng Ruqing stroked her chin and fell into deep thought. Little girl. Jiu Ming slowly moved nearer to Feng Ruqing. He lowered his eyes and smiled. His hot breath was on her face. Paramount is only showing a little bit of its power. If you promise me, I can help you investigate the cause of Empress Nalan's death. Feng Ruqing suddenly balled her fists tightly. She raised her head and stared at Jiu Ming. You mean, my mother did not die from difficult labor? Everyone told Feng Ruching that her mother had died because of difficult labor when she was born. But she thought that her mother's death was not as simple as that after hearing what Jiuming had said. Jiuming snorted. The power of Lu Yun Kingdom is weak. It will not be easy if you relied on your father to uncover the truth behind that incident. If not, His Majesty would have been able to discover something by now after all these years of investigation. Feng Ruching lowered her eyes. Her breath became heavy. Empress Naylan did not die because of difficult labor. But even my father could not find out the truth behind that incident. How powerful was the influence behind this? Why are you telling me all these things? Feng Ruching sneered at Jiuming. Chapter 97, Collaboration 2. Jiuming grinned wickedly. It's because we are going to collaborate now. I need your herbal dishes and you need Paramount's power. All right. There was a determination in Feng Ruching's eyes. I accept your proposal. I will give you all my herbal dishes and in return, I want Paramount's power. Deal. It was late by the time Feng Ruching left the ship. She lowered her eyes and looked at the token in her hands. There was happiness in her eyes. She did not come to the meeting without gaining anything. She at least gained a token. She could now have an easier time take care of things with the token. At least, she could ask the people in Paramount to go and buy precious herbs. Sir. Inside the ship. Su Lao frowned and looked at the space where Feng Ruching was before she left. He sighed. Feng Ruching might not know the significance of being the Lady of Paramount. Do you really want to do that? Jiuming stood with one hand on his back. His sleeves flapped about as they were moved by the breeze. The young girl's plump body slowly disappeared from his sight. I was saved by Empress Naylan when I was tricked and hurt badly that year. Now I built Paramount. Jiuming turned and looked at Su Lao. It's all because of Empress Naylan. If there were no Empress Naylan, do you think Paramount could exist? Su Lao stopped talking. I have never seen myself as the master of Paramount. It was all because of Feng Ruching. Su Lao looked at Jiuming with great shock. Paramount was built by Jiuming. He had never treated himself as the master of Paramount but a mere official son instead. Was it all because of Feng Ruching? Sir, you mean? Su Lao's voice was trembling. There was a shock in his eyes. My life was saved by Empress Naylan. I repaid her kindness by giving away Paramount. It's not too much to give. But Feng Ruching was a villain all these years that I could not meet her. She did all kinds of evil things. If Paramount was given to such a villain, the world would descend into chaos. Jiuming could not allow Empress Naylan's daughter to become such a villain since Empress Naylan was an exceptional woman. She's indeed different now. Su Lao kept quiet for a while before he voiced his opinion, but his heart was calm. But he stopped and asked again, Sir, why didn't you accept her proposal and give her half of Paramount? Jiuming smiled wickedly and stroked the cup on the table. One never appreciates anything that is gained easily. Moreover, she's still too weak to control Paramount. If I gave her half of it, it might destroy her. Su Lao was silent. Sir always valued loyalty and righteousness. But the value of Paramount was too high. The public only knew about Paramount's business. They never knew its significance in this country. Sir, are you worried about the people in your family? Su Lao raised his eyes and asked in a deep voice. Jiuming's eyes darkened. Yes. Those people have always wanted Paramount since I have created it. They want me to give it to my elder brother. If they know that I've given it to Feng Ruching, she might be in great danger. Chapter 98, collaboration 3 Jiu Ming would not have thought so much before meeting Feng Ruqing. Empress Nalan was his benefactor. He could never harm her daughter. Sir, is it because she cannot know about this? No. It'll do her no good if she knows too much. Jiu Ming picked up a cup of tea and looked at Su Lao. Su Lao, continue the investigation on Empress Nalan's death. I heard that Empress Nalan had delivered a pair of fraternal twins. It meant that Feng Ruqing had a younger brother. There was a shock in Su Lao's eyes. How is that possible? Does His Majesty know about it? He might not know about it. The power behind this is too strong. Lu Yun Kingdown is too weak to investigate this matter. This incident implicated a hidden family. The power of the kingdom was not able to conquer it. Lu Yun Kingdom would never be able to discover what the family wanted to do. But Jiu Ming would get involved just for Empress Nalan's sake. No one could stop him. Master Nalan was getting better every day after consuming the spirit wine. He was more energetic and there was a glow on his face now. Even his body was getting better. One fateful day, Master Nalan was playing chess with another person when suddenly, a servant came and informed him nervously, Master Nalan, something terrible has happened. Something horrible. Master Wei, Master Qin, and Master Jiang have come. The Wei, Qin, and Jiang family were 3 famous families in Lu Yun Kingdom. There was always intermarriage among these families and their interrelationships were good and close. Moreover, Lady Nalan came from the Qin family. So, Master Nalan was not surprised by Master Qin's arrival. Master Nalan was surprised as to why the 3 families came together. Master Nalan could see the 3 masters from afar. The 3 masters laughed loudly when they were walking toward Master Nalan. All that laughing sent a chill down Master Nalan's spine as he had no clue what the matter was. Master Nalan was not in doubt for long. Master Qin Feiyang, moved swiftly toward Master Nalan and patted Master Nalan's shoulder. Master Qin laughed loudly at the same time. Master Nalan, my son-in-law told me that you have gained a good pot of wine not long ago. You're really something. Our families are close and you do know that I love wine. Why didn't you treat me to some of it yesterday when I visited? Master Nalan's face reddened at this remark. He swore aloud, Nalan Zhangqian, I'll definitely kill you. This wicked fellow. Master Nalan had ordered Nalan Zhangqian not to tell a soul about the existence of the spirit wine. Yet, Nalan Zhangqian still told the news to the others. Now that these 3 masters were here. How could Master Nalan handle this? Master Nalan would definitely kill anybody who dared to go against him. Master Nalan, why are you so stingy? Qin Feiyang was angry too. I just want to try 1 cup of your wine and you want to kill my son-in-law. Is your wine more important than your son? I don't care. Now that I'm here, I'll not leave if you do not treat me to some of your good wine. Qin Feiyang snorted and sat on the chair. He then looked at Master Nalan. Master Nalan nearly vomited blood. That was spirit wine. He only dared to drink a cup of the spirit wine every day. If these fellows knew about it, they would definitely come and ask for it every day. In fact, Master Nalan did not think of using other types of wines to fool these people. But they had all tried his wines. It would not be possible for Master Nalan to go and search for another good pot of wine for them. Nalan Zhangqian was really his good son. Putting his father in a difficult position just to please his father-in-law. Everybody said that the daughters could not be trusted after they had grown up. But why was Master Nalan's son like this? Chapter 99. Shameless Qin Feiyang. Master Nalan sighed and cursed Nalan Zhangqian in his heart 100 times. All of the old men were seated, and they were waiting for his good wine. Come. Go and bring my precious wine, Master Nayland sneered and ordered. Remember, you can only pour a small bowl of the wine and bring a few empty bowls. Do you understand? It'll definitely kill anybody who dares to pour more of the wine than what I've ordered. The Imperial Guard who was ready to go and bring the wine was terrified. He felt that Master Nayland would really kill him if he brought even an extra drop of the wine. Master Nayland, when did you become so stingy? Qin Feiyang snorted, his voice was filled with discontent. There are so many of us. How come you are only serving us a bowl of your good wine? Are you underestimating us? Master Nayland was so furious that he could not be bothered with these old men. You can scram now if you don't want that small bowl of wine. I'll keep it. Qin Feiyang was so angry that he pointed at Master Nayland and could not even utter a word. Why was Master Nayland so stingy about a pot of good wine? If that was the case, Qin Feiyang would definitely stay and see what kind of wine was being served by Master Nayland. After a while, the Imperial Guard brought the pot of good wine and walked toward them carefully. The Imperial Guard held the bowl of wine carefully. He was afraid that Master Nayland would kill him if any drop of the wine was spilled accidentally. Master Nayland scanned the wine. He smiled widely when he looked at the wine in the bowl. Master Nayland, what's your meaning of this? Qin Feiyang's face darkened. He turned to Master Nayland angrily. Do you want every one of us to take only a sip of the wine? How are we supposed to share among us this little wine? Master Nayland laughed at this. In fact, even a drop of my good wine can be sold at a high price if you see it outside. If you really don't want to take a sip of it, you can just get lost. I'll keep it instead. Qin Feiyang sneered and laughed cynically. I just don't believe that your wine is as valuable as you described. Nobody in this whole wide world would spend that much money on a sip of wine. Just as he had finished talking, Qin Feiyang snatched the bowl of wine from the Imperial Guard. The other old men were angry too. They did not respond even when they saw Qin Feiyang finishing the bowl of wine all by himself. Only a sip of wine. Are you underestimating us? Did they really want that sip of wine so badly? They would not have come to General Manor if they were not in good relationships with Master Nayland. Moreover, they had always informed Master Nayland when they had any good wine. Who was as stingy as Master Nayland? Master Nayland could only spare a sip of his wine for 3 people. Qin Feiyang was stunned. These 3 families had always gone into war with Master Nayland before. They had always had scars or injuries in their bodies, especially Qin Feiyang who was hurt a few years ago. It had rendered him unable to move forward from his current training stage. But Qin Feiyang felt that there was a flow of spiritual qi rushing into his body when he drank the wine. It had made his spiritual qi improve just a little. Normal people would not have noticed the increase in spiritual qi. But Qin Feiyang had been unable to advance for a few years now. The spiritual qi in his dantian had not improved this much for so long. Chapter 100, Shameless Qin Feiyang 2. How long had Qin Feiyang unable to feel the flow of spiritual qi? Master Qin. Wei Fang looked at Qin Feiyang who was stunned. Wei Fang frowned and asked, is there anything different with this wine from the ones we usually have? If that's the case, Wei Fang stared in disbelief when he finished talking. There was an unbelievable light in Wei Fang's eyes. It was because there were only a few drops of wine left in the bowl after Qin Feiyang had drunk it. Qin Feiyang stuck out his tongue and licked the last drops of the wine shamelessly without being aware of the situation. On top of that, Qin Feiyang seemed greatly satisfied after that. Qin Feiyang composed himself as he became aware of the crowd which was looking at him in astonishment. He realized what he had done and coughed in embarrassment. I couldn't hold back. I just couldn't. This wine is so delicious. Master Nayland, can you spare me some more of the wine? A sip. I just want a sip of it. They had always tasted different kinds of wine throughout these years and yet have never seen Qin Feiyang being that shameless. Wei Fang looked at Qin Feiyang doubtfully. Master Nayland, is this wine that delicious? Qin Feiyang was stunned after hearing Wei Fang's voice. In fact, Qin Feiyang did not notice at first. He realized that the wine was brewed with spirit herbs after he drank the first sip. Spirit herbs were so valuable that it would be too luxurious to use them to brew wine. Moreover, herbs could be a cure or harmful. Even if there were people who were rich enough to use spirit herbs to brew wine, no one dared to try it, even the people from Spirit Herb's shop. So, the value of spirit wine was unimaginable. If these old men knew that Qin Feiyang drank their portion of the spirit wine, he might have been escorted out of the general manor in a stretcher. The wine is indeed good. However, you've been drinking too much good wine. Just don't bother about this wine. Master Nayland sneered and laughed aloud. Master Nayland was suppressing his anger. Are you sure this is only some good wine? This is spirit wine, but you seem to think that it's just any good wine. Qin Feiyang, don't you think that you're disrespectful toward my spirit wine? Qin Feiyang, I never thought this day would come. Even though Nayland Zhangqian told you about the spirit wine, why did you bring these old geezers along to condemn me? So I had no choice but to make you shoot yourself in the foot. Just then, Qin Feiyang felt a chill down his spine. He turned his body stiffly and laughed nervously. This is a misunderstanding. I can explain it. Wei Fang laughed mockingly. Explain. What do you have to explain? Master Nayland had treated us to the wine, and yet you finished it all by yourself. How can you explain it? Jiang Qing was overwhelmed with anger too. Qin Feiyang, how can we settle this? Qin Feiyang looked at their angry faces and coughed in embarrassment. He felt that he was somehow guilty, and so he laughed aloud. We can discuss it. If not, well, ask for more of the wine from Master Nayland. Suddenly, all eyes turned to Master Nayland. Master Nayland looked so shameless. There's no use even if you looked at me. I could only spare you that little wine. I'll give the rest of the spirit wine to His Majesty. If you want, go ahead and ask from His Majesty. Feng Tianyu was Master Nayland's son-in-law. Everyone would believe it if Master Nayland said that he had given it to His Majesty. Chapter 101, Master Nayland had a breakthrough at Qin Feiyang and the others were stunned. Go and ask for the spirit wine from His Majesty. They were not as daring as that. Qin Feiyang. Wei Fang turned his angry stare upon Qin Feiyang. You're so bold to snatch our spirit wine from us. You're really tired of living, aren't you? Well, definitely make you pay for it today, even if His Majesty comes and helps you. Beads of sweat formed on Qin Feiyang's forehead. He laughed in embarrassment. Actually, I can explain, boom. Jiang Qing was furious. He aimed a lightning-speed punch at Qin Feiyang. Suddenly, a strong wind blew in the backyard. The leaves scattered, and there was sand everywhere. Qin Feiyang was angry too. He had only drunk a few sips of wine. How come these old men were so furious? Did they really think that the Qin family could be treated as such? Suddenly, Qin Feiyang jumped and came to stand in front of Jiang Qing. Master Nayland had ordered the Imperial Guard to bring a bowl of wine and some dishes to go with the wine. Now, he was waiting to watch the scene in front of him unfold. He smiled and looked at the three of them in a fight. Boom! Suddenly, a strong gush of power came from Master Nayland. It broke the stone chair in front of him. This strong movement stopped the fighting among the three old men. All of them looked at Master Nalan suspiciously. Was the power just now a breakthrough? Everyone knew that the stronger the warrior was, the more difficult it was for the warrior to make a breakthrough. Moreover, Master Nalan was old. He had been grieving for a few years now because of Empress Nalan's death. He even had a few ailments because of Feng Ruking's actions. He was no longer young or energetic. He had not had any breakthrough since he reached True Warrior tier. Now, he had broken through and made it to Spirit Warrior tier. Master Nalan, did you just make a breakthrough? Qin Feiyang looked at Master Nalan suspiciously. There were bewilderment and surprise in Qin Feiyang's eyes. These old men had nearly reached the impasses in their training. Master Nalan was the weakest among them because he was unable to train these past few years. Even so, Qin Feiyang still could not bear it when Master Nalan had a breakthrough. How was it that he could make a breakthrough all of a sudden? Master Nalan was shocked as well. He looked at the wine glass in his hand. He had been drinking the spirit wine these past few days. He could feel the improvement in his spiritual qi, but he never thought that he could make a breakthrough just like that. Of course, Master Nalan did not know that the spirit herbs used for the brewing of the wine were of low grade. He would be able to make a breakthrough right away if the spirit herbs used were of higher grade if he takes the first sip of the wine. He would not have to wait for a few days like this. The power of this spirit wine is marvelous. Master Nalan held onto his wine glass tightly and fell into deep thought. Master Nalan, are you trying to say that you have made a breakthrough just because of the spirit wine? Wei Fong was having trouble breathing. Spirit wine which could help people break through. How powerful was the spirit wine? The whole of Lu Yun Kingdom could be improved if the amount of this spirit wine was large. Master Nalan, may I know where you got this spirit wine from? Qin Feiyang was silent for a while. He raised his head and looked at Master Nalan. Master Nalan turned to look at Qin Feiyang. His thoughtful eyes were suddenly filled with pride. He replied satisfactorily, "It's all because of my granddaughter." Chapter 102, Master Nalan made a breakthrough to granddaughter? Master Nalan, did you mean Princess Feng Ruqing? That's right. It's all because of Feng Ruqing's wisdom. She bought this wine from a vendor, and that's the reason that I had a breakthrough. The number of people who made it to Spirit Warrior tier was not high among the four kingdoms. Those who made it to above the Spirit Warrior tier came from those families who lived apart from the world. Empress Nalan was the first who reached the Spirit Warrior tier. However, Empress Nalan had died young. His Majesty was the only one who had reached Spirit Warrior tier in the imperial family. Now, the other kingdoms were not so daring as to challenge Lu Yun Kingdom because Master Nalan had reached Spirit Warrior tier. Qin Feiyang's eyes almost popped out of their sockets. This spirit wine was bought from a vendor. Moreover, it was that good-for-nothing Feng Ruqing who bought it for Master Nalan. Master Nalan, is this wine really given by the princess? It's indeed given by her. Master Nalan fell into deep thought. After a while, he said, Qin Feiyang. Now, the three of you can come to my manor and drink my wine every day until you make a breakthrough. This old man was so stingy just now. Why was he so generous now? They could not believe that Master Nalan was without any conspiracy. Master Nalan stared at Qin Feiyang. I do like good wine. But, did you ever see me so stingy? I would not have done so if this spirit wine is only delicious and capable of improving your spiritual qi. But, now that I know that this spirit wine could help you break through, I couldn't help but think of the benefits to Lu Yun Kingdom. Lu Yun Kingdom was once protected by Master Nalan's daughter with her life. He would definitely risk his whole life to protect Lu Yun Kingdom for Yenner's sake. It was only a pot of spirit wine. It was nothing compared to Luyun Kingdom. Princess Manor. Feng Ruqing opened a pot in the serene and quiet cellar. The smell of good wine made her very energetic. The second batch of spirit wine is completed. I have specially brewed 3 pots of spirit wine, and they will be sufficient to be distributed. Feng Ruqing carried the 3 pots of spirit wine and walked toward the entrance of the cellar. Feng Ruqing saw the 4-armed ape who was guarding the entrance of the cellar just as she stepped out of the cellar. She tossed a pot of spirit wine at the 4-armed ape. Little ape, I'll give you leave today. You can go and drink as much wine as you want. The ape gibbered. The 4-armed ape held the pot of wine happily, and it even bowed to Feng Ruqing like a human. Then, it rushed to the hill quickly. Feng Ruqing could not help but look in the direction which the ape had disappeared. She then turned and walked away. The atmosphere in the imperial study was majestic and solemn. A man sat at the emperor's throne. He was holding a memorial in his hand, reading through it carefully. His eyebrows sometimes tightened and relaxed. The palace maids and eunuchs around him were anxious because of the changes in his emotions. The door of the imperial study room was pushed open at this time. Feng Tianyu's hard and serious face softened, and his eyes were filled with gentleness. It was because there was only one person in the whole palace who could meet Feng Tianyu without any prior notice. Qing'er, are you free today to come and meet me? The man put down his imperial jade seal. His face showed great gentleness and care which made the servants more relaxed. Chapter 103, Master Nalan made a breakthrough 3 Father. Feng Ruqing walked forward slowly and gave the pot of wine in her hands to a eunuch who was standing at the side. Then, she turned and looked at Feng Tianyu. I bought this wine some time ago. I brought it for you to try. Feng Tianyu smiled as he was pleased. My daughter has finally grown up. I'm grateful. I do not like to drink wine. You can give this to your grandfather. He likes to drink wine. The relationship between Qing'er and the general manor was not intimate. Their relationship might be improved with this pot of good wine. Yenna would be glad now that she was in heaven. No need. Feng Ruqing smiled and shook her head. I've given a pot of wine to my grandfather. This is for you. I've been to many places just to find a pot of good wine for you. Father, my effort would be wasted if you do not try it. Feng Tianyu was helpless, but he also felt ecstatic deep down in his heart. Qing'er had indeed changed so much after that day. It must be because of Yenner. Okay. I'll try your wine after I have finished reading all the memorials. Good. Feng Ruqing smiled gently. Moreover, I'm lucky enough that I could buy a divine spirit fruit. I'll give that to you too. This divine spirit fruit could help relieve your tiredness since you're always busy dealing with government affairs. Feng Tianyu was stunned. Feng Ruqing put the divine spirit fruit in front of Feng Tianyu. He looked at the divine spirit fruit. There were tears in his eyes. Qing'er, you're really more thoughtful now. His care and love for her all these years were not wasted. By the way, Feng Tianyu suddenly thought of something. He then asked, did you retrieve the iron-blooded token? Feng Ruqing smiled broadly. I only let her look at the iron-blooded token, but it has taken so many years. Now, it's time that I took it back. That's good. Feng Tianyu could finally sigh in relief after all these years. That iron-blooded token was left behind by Yenner, and it was also a thing which Feng Tianyu wanted to hold dear to himself for the rest of his life. However, Feng Ruqing had given it to noble consort Rome, and even he could not stop her. Now he was relieved that the thing had been returned to its rightful owner and Feng Ruqing had indeed grown up. But, Qing'er, you need to eat more. You've clearly slimmed down a lot in only a month. Feng Tianyu sighed. Even if you want to slim down, you should not skip any meals. You can just eat less oily food. Do you understand? He was most worried that Feng Ruqing would skip meals just to slim down. If anything happened to her, he would not be able to meet the late Empress Nalan when he passed away one day. Father, I understand. Feng Ruqing was indeed slimmer than before. But her face was still chubby. However, there was a glow on her face when she smiled now. Her cheekbones were also sharper and more noticeable now. I'll not bother you further today. I'll come and meet you again next time. Just then, Feng Ruqing looked at Feng Tianyu. She felt that there was something wrong with Feng Tianyu. But she could not seem to put a finger on it. She saw that Feng Tianyu did not say anything, so she turned and walked out of the imperial study room. Feng Tianyu's face turned so pale that he vomited a mouthful of blood on the memorial when the door of the imperial study room closed. His face was still serious and handsome. But his actions made the palace maids around him nervous. All of them came forward and surrounded him. Chapter 104, Master Nalan made a breakthrough for Your Majesty. It's nothing serious. It's only some old illnesses. It doesn't matter. Feng Tianyu wiped his mouth. Make sure that no one knows about this, especially Qing'er. If not, you'll be killed without mercy. Your Majesty, Eunuch Lin came forward worriedly. You don't have to be like this. There are so many good doctors in this world. We can hire them to treat your illnesses. Moreover, Your Majesty could buy a lot of spirit herbs. Your illnesses might be cured. Actually, Feng Tianyu had those illnesses because he had suffered from great misery and grief when Empress Nalan died that year. Feng Tianyu's health was becoming worse every day after Empress Nalan's death. He never could have made it to this day if Feng Ruqing were more thoughtful and sensible. He was worried that Feng Ruqing would be bullied by the others when he died. But now, he felt that his duty was fulfilled after seeing how far Feng Ruqing had changed and grown. I still need to hold Luyun Kingdom together. If the others know of my deteriorating health, they might take this chance to attack us. Feng Tianyu's eyebrows tightened. He sighed softly. I just hoped that I could uncover the truth to Yenner's death and avenge her before I die. That way, I could eliminate all enemies for Qing'er. I won't die before eliminating all the enemies. So, don't worry. His daughter had grown up, but she clearly needed his support and guidance. He would never leave her behind. He would only go and meet Yenner when everything was settled and peaceful. Furthermore, Feng Tianyu laughed bitterly. I have always wished that Feng Ruqing could amend her relationship with the General Manor. If I passed on the throne to her, the General Manor would support her willingly, not because of Yenner and me. Your Majesty. Eunuch Lin was shocked. He looked up at Feng Tianyu anxiously. If Your Majesty wants to pass your throne on to Feng Ruqing, all the people will never agree. There has never been a female emperor in the history of Lu Yun. Feng Tianyu snorted. The throne is mine. Anyone can be an emperor if I choose to pass my throne on to her. Moreover, the next emperor must be the child of Yenner and I, there's no one else. Eunuch Lin was quiet. His Majesty had never been together with the other consorts these last few years. Those consorts were just there for show. So, His Majesty was left without a son now. If he continued to act stubbornly, he would never have a son. So, this throne might just be passed on to the crown princess. In a small garden at the palace, a young girl was surrounded by a group from the iron-blooded troop. There was a sweet and innocent smile on her beautiful face. Tang Zi, I really came to meet all of you. It's because my concubine mother knows that all of you have been training very hard recently. So, she has ordered me to bring you this 100-year-old ginseng for you to strengthen your bodies. 100-year-old ginseng was only an ordinary herb. It was not as powerful as a spirit herb. Moreover, these people from the iron-blooded troop were so aggressive. She would not have given them the spirit herbs even if she had bought them. But this 100-year-old ginseng was considered expensive in the market. So, these people would surely be grateful toward her. Second princess, please leave now. There was no emotion on Tang Zi's face. Her expression was cold. Just bring the 100-year-old ginseng back. We don't need it. Feng Rushwang's smile froze. She was furious. These people were just some of the royal family's dogs. How could they be this rude? They thought that they were favored by His Majesty. I'm kind enough to come and meet you. Although the iron-blooded token has been retrieved by my sister, but think about it, is it a good thing that she has taken it back? No. You're wrong. She just wants to use it to harm the public. My concubine mother took it away then for everybody's sake. Now, you can't even differentiate good and bad. Chapter 105, Conflict resolved over a pot of wine. Tang Zi frowned slightly as her body was surrounded by a cold chill. She looked indifferent, and her face was taut the whole time. We, iron-blooded troop, submit ourselves only to the Empress in our whole lifetime. After the Empress' death, it's only natural for the Princess Royal to assume command over us. Second princess, please leave now. Tang Zi. Feng Rushwang's smile ceased. Are you sure you want to help a villain do evil? Won't your decision today damage the military's glory and prestige which Empress Nalan had fought for so many years? My concubine mother is just concerned about the whole nation, but you choose to be loyal to somebody who has committed countless crimes. If not because of the troop commander, Tang Zi, who was steady and firm, Feng Rushwang would have succeeded in her attempt to bribe and win the troop member's heart. Then, they would have gotten the troops' acceptance much earlier, which they did not get even after holding the iron-blooded token for so many years. You shut up. Ling Yun shouted in anger as her expression changed. You are nobody to interfere with whatever decisions made by the troop. Don't poke your nose into our business. Feng Rushwang sneered and turned to look at the rest of the troop members who were there. You can ask these people, how many of them are willing to submit themselves to Feng Ruching? She mocked. Everyone was taken aback and looked at each other without saying anything. After a moment of silence, someone from the back suddenly spoke. It could be heard clearly in the quiet courtyard. Commander, actually what she said is not totally wrong. We are the army of iron-blooded troop who are supposed to fight for our homeland and protect our people. All of us are aware of how the Princess Royal has behaved previously. If she wants us to oppress and bully people, wouldn't it tarnish our reputation? Nevertheless, Feng Ruching had done countless of crimes and misdeeds. She did bully the weak and oppress poor people. Due to her status, nobody in Luyun Kingdom dared to go against Feng Ruching. Imagine if she had the military troop behind her, who else would be bold enough to resist her command? Empress Nalan had been striving hard through the war for many years before they had managed to build their reputation today. They would never let the princess tarnish it. All of you shut up. Tang Zi glared sternly at the group. She reprimanded sternly, no matter what happens, the iron-blooded troop will only submit to one person. Unless we die in the war, I will never leave. Everyone went silent. They never thought of betraying the Empress, but the princess' attitude had disappointed them. They would rather live without any accomplishment their whole lives than following her around to bully the people. Tang Zi diverted her cold glance to Feng Rushwang. You better leave now. I will pretend that you never came here today. Please bring your ginseng along, we do not need it. You, Feng Rushwang clenched her palms tightly in annoyance. As the princess of Lu Yun Kingdom, she had never been humiliated in front of others except for Feng Ruching. How dare this bloody Tang Zi belittle her? Tang Zi, do you think I came here for fun? Feng Rishuang suddenly laughed. Her eyes were beaming with delight and tenderness. I accidentally heard about her conversation with a palace maid. She personally said that she took back the iron-blooded token to oppress and slaughter the innocent civilians. You will end up as her partner in crime eventually. Why do you want to be a sinner and be condemned by history? Tang Zi knitted her brows again. She glared at Feng Rishuang coldly. The Princess Royal has just dropped by to show her solitude to us not long ago. She has personally sent us some the divine spirit fruit. Feng Rishuang was stunned. That good-for-nothing rogue was willing to buy precious spirit herbs for the iron-blooded troop. This time, she was serious and seemed to have put in her blood and sweat. I have heard of the divine spirit fruit from the imperial physician. They are just grade 1 spirit herbs which are not extremely expensive despite its small amount available in the market. Never thought that the commander of the iron-blooded troop could be bought by a mere divine spirit fruit. Can't you see that she's just trying to win you over? Chapter 106, Conflict resolved over a pot of wine too. She sighed helplessly and said with mixed emotion, I pity my concubine mother. Her painstakingly effort was misunderstood by the whole nation that year. Everyone thought that she had snatched other people's possession for herself when it was actually her concern for the civilians. Tang Zi remained silent, but she could feel the burning flame of anger in her heart. No matter Feng Ruching had changed or not, the iron-blooded troop would never betray her and submit themselves to another person. Why won't she understand after so many years? The rest of the troop members' military morale had shaken except for Tang Zi's. After all, everyone had witnessed and was aware of Feng Ruching's bad behavior and misdeeds these past few years. She was capable of doing things mentioned by the second princess. Looking at the signs of anxiety on their face, Feng Rishuang seemed rather grimly delighted. She sneered at them. It was difficult to influence Tang Zi, but she could manipulate and waver the rest of the troop members' minds. Once their morale was shaken, she would manage to have control over them. Then she would just change the troop commander, so it was not a big issue here. Stop talking nonsense. Ling Yun flew into a rage out of embarrassment. Hee hee. Feng Rishuang chuckled in disdain and mocked, my concubine mother has been the scapegoat for many years. Today, I am here to clear her name and let you all know who is the one who really cares for the people. Who is the real master of the iron-blooded token? That wretched fatty, Feng Ruching, was a good-for-nothing. She did not only snatch away her father and the affection that she deserved, but also the iron-blooded token as well. She would never let this matter rest. The real master of iron-blooded token. A giggling sound could be heard when the soft breeze blew at them. The sound was soft and gentle to the ear, but Feng Rishuang felt a chill run down her spine. Feng Rishuang turned her head slowly to identify the source. Her eyes widened in shock. It was almost sunset as the warm sunlight filled the small courtyard. A young lady was standing at the entrance, and she was smiling sweetly. Her body was still considered fatter than the rest of the people. However, Feng Rishuang could not deny that she had lost some weight, and she looked prettier than before. The young woman's smile was warm like the sunlight, contagious and graceful. Sister. Feng Rishuang quickly hid her shock and greeted Feng Ruching like nothing had happened. She smiled sweetly and walked toward Feng Ruching. Her black orbs looked mesmerizing, bright, and clear. However, when one took a second look at them, they made people feel like there was nowhere to hide from those eyes. Why are you here? You haven't dropped by the imperial palace for so many days, so I thought you have already forgotten about our father. You did not even pay him a visit. Feng Ruqing smiled until her eyes were almost like two lines. I have no choice. To share His Majesty's burden and to be able to solve his problems, I can only upgrade my ability. These few days, I have been too busy until I had no time to visit father. Seems like I am not a filial daughter. But since father loves me, I think he won't mind about it. Feng Ruqing was indeed quite busy in her practice recently. At the same time, she was busy making herbal dishes as well. How was it possible for her to squeeze out time in between to pay her father a visit? She did not even step out of her princess manner these past few days. Feng Rushwang's smiling face turned stiff and awkward. Sister, I did not mean that. I did not mention anything. Feng Ruqing looked shocked and confused. Unless, I did say something that I shouldn't have said just now. Rushwang, you're just concerned about me, how could it be possible for me to misinterpret your words? Unless you do have such intention, Feng Rushwang felt she was going to explode soon and was about to hit her to death. However, she knew that she did not stand a chance against these people from the iron-blooded troop, so she swallowed her anger. By the way, I heard you mentioning the Master of Iron-Blooded Token just now. Feng Ruqing suddenly asked solemnly. Who told you that the Iron-Blooded Token has a master? Feng Rushwang's face turned blank. She raised her head and looked at Feng Ruqing in confusion. What do you mean, sister? Chapter 107, Conflict resolved over a pot of wine. 3. Every member of the iron-blooded troop has their own rights. If they choose to be loyal to me, they can follow me to the battlefield throughout their lives. One day, if they feel tired and exhausted, they may choose to live in seclusion. Nobody is eligible to call herself master or force them into slavery. The whole iron-blooded troop was dumbfounded. One day, if they were tired of the battle life, they could request to retire and return to their hometown and live in seclusion. Could they do that? She would not force them to commit their whole life to her. So, Feng Ruqing lowered her gaze at Feng Rushwang. She looked down at her with superiority. Who are you, to claim yourself as the master of the iron-blooded token? Feng Rushwang's face went pale white. She bit her lip hard and her petite body was trembling. Sister, didn't you say earlier that these people are your dogs? Why did she talk about human rights now? Feng Ruqing chuckled coldly. Because the old Feng Ruqing is already dead. Feng Ruqing. Feng Rushwang recovered from her surprise. Wickedness flashed through her eyes. She could not contain herself. Don't pretend anymore. Who doesn't know your real face? The iron-blooded troop members should have known your attitude better. You've taken back the token just to order them around to do your dirty jobs, haven't you? The iron-blooded token was useless in their hands, but if it fell into Feng Ruqing's possession, they had no choice but to obey her commands. The iron-blooded token. Feng Ruqing smiled a little and took out the token. Much to everyone's surprise, she suddenly broke the token into two halves with force. Do you think I need to depend on this token? She had actually taken back the token from noble consort Ro because she did not want her to stain it. In fact, Feng Ruqing never had the intention to use the iron-blooded token to control the troop. She only wanted to depend on herself. Every iron-blooded troop member was stunned. Even Feng Rushwang was taken aback and shocked. If Feng Ruqing had this token in hand, none of the troop member could go against her command as it represented the Empress herself. His Majesty would never allow anyone to disrespect Feng Ruqing. Thus, even though the iron-blooded troop members did not submit themselves to Feng Ruqing, they could not disobey her order. This was what they most afraid of at the moment. However, they did not expect her to break the token. She destroyed it without any hesitation. Your Royal Highness, Tang Zi stared at Feng Ruqing in shock. Are you aware of the consequence behind your action right now? Feng Ruching turned to Tang Zi and smiled back. Of course, I do. Would you not obey my command if I don't have this iron-blooded token anymore? No, we won't do that. Tang Zi quickly shook her head to show her loyalty. It's fine then. The iron-blooded token does not have many functions anyway. It only attracts those who eye it with bad intention. What I want is not the token, but your genuine loyalty. I want all of you to submit yourselves to me willingly. Feng Ruching assured her with a gentle smile. However, I promise that I will never stain the iron-blooded troops' reputation and tarnish my imperial mother's reputation. I will only make our troops stronger and lead everyone into glory and more success. Tang Zi felt warmed and touched. Finally, this day had come. She had been waiting for this day for too long. She was glad that she managed to witness this day. I believe in you. This time, she was willing to trust her words again, just because of her motivating words just now. Tang Zi kneeled down on one knee, held her sword with both hands and said loudly, "The commander of the iron-blooded troop, Tang Zi, pays respect to master. The vice-commander of the iron-blooded troop, Ling Yun, pays respect to master. Pay respect to master." As the sun set in the west, the high-spirited and dignified sound echoed under the sky continuously without a break. Feng Rushwang's face went pale. She stared at Feng Ruching with intense hatred. She glanced at Feng Ruching coldly, then turned and walked toward the door. Chapter 108. Conflict resolved over a pot of wine. She clenched her fists tightly. Her hands were at her sides, her fingernails dug into her palms until it bled without her realizing it. Feng Ruching, you cannot keep whatever that does not belong to you forever. One day, I'll take the things you have snatched away from me back, and I will make you suffer and give you no chance to rise again. Feng Ruching did not bother about Feng Rushwang's leaving. For her, having fun and enjoying wine with the troop members were more important at the moment. Look here, I've prepared good wine for all of you. Let's enjoy our wine heartily tonight. She had not gotten a chance to try her wine yet as she was busy giving it to others. So today she would drink it to her heart's content. What an enjoyable night to drink wine with her fellow troop members. I don't drink wine. Ling Yun was stunned. So, she tried to decline the offer with a weak excuse. Feng Ruching was not pleased upon hearing that. I have spent a lot of effort to get this wine. All of you must drink it. But I cannot hold my liquor. No, it cannot be. Are you a soldier? If you are a proud and strong soldier, how can you refuse to drink? If it were an ordinary wine, she would have let her go, but this was spirit wine. She must drink it. Feng Ruching lifted the wine jar without much effort and opened it. The fragrance of the wine filled the air. Even Ling Yun, who was not a drinker, subconsciously indulged in the fragrance and the sweet scent of the wine. She soon realized that her inner qi was fluctuating and seemed to be rising to the next level. This wine, Tang Zi lifted her head in surprise. Don't bother about this wine. Today, we must drink heartily. Ling Yun, get a wine bowl here. Yes, master. Ling Yun had recovered from her surprise and quickly rushed to the little courtyard. In actual fact, Feng Ruching did not bring only one jar, but a few jars of wine which were already diluted with water. She had no other choice. There were simply too many people in the troop. If she did not do this, it would not be enough for everyone. Later on, she would get more spirit beasts to help her with the wine-producing work. By then, the troop members would be able to drink pure spirit wine instead of the diluted one. Master, is it really all right for us to enjoy such good wine? Tang Zi looked at Feng Ruching and asked in hesitation. Shall we send it to His Majesty and the old generals? Feng Ruching raised her brows. Don't worry. Of course, I have kept some for them. Moreover, apart from relieving pain and maintaining good health, spirit wine helps to break through your cultivation level as it contains sufficient qi. Since all of you want to submit yourselves to me, you must upgrade your cultivation level. Tang Zi felt moved as it tugged at her heartstrings. In her opinion, a change for the better in the princess had been an extravagant hope to them. Yet, who knew the princess would be so concerned about them? Then, I shall give no more excuses. Today, I will drink heartily with you. She finally smiled. It was different from her usual confident and valiant smile, it was more gentle this time. Within seconds, Ling Yun came out with the wine bowl. She poured a bowl for Feng Ruching first and handed it to her. She took the bowl and said it out loud, "Let me salute you with the first toast of wine. All of you must drink too." Once she finished her words, she swallowed every drop of wine in one shot. Then, her body suddenly fell back with a bang sound as she fell onto the floor just before Ling Yun managed to pour her second round of wine. The wine bowl shattered on the ground beside her. Tang Zi was left dumbfounded for a few moments, then she picked up the wine bowl and took a sip. This spirit wine does not have high alcohol content. Why did Princess become unconscious after only one drink? Moreover, based on her current low alcohol tolerance, how bold it was of her to drink heartily with us. Commander, let me bring Princess to rest somewhere. Ling Yun shook her head as she felt helpless. When she wanted to carry Feng Ruching, suddenly a small storm appeared on the princess' body. That storm was so strong to the point where it pushed Ling Yun a few steps back. Is this a sign of cultivation breakthrough for the princess? Tang Zi was stunned to see this strange phenomenon. She frowned at Feng Ruching who was sleeping soundly on the ground. She muttered to herself for a few moments, "No, something is wrong." The breakthrough for Earth Warrior tier won't cause this strong effect, but her fluctuating spiritual qi does belong to Earth Warrior tier. Chapter 109. It was a huge embarrassment that Tang Zi fell silent. Her eyes showed that she was thinking hard. After a while, the spiritual qi storm was still there, and it did not disappear. In fact, she felt her inner spiritual qi start to go out of control under the influence of the storm. Tang Zi, what happened? Ling Yun was astonished. How could it be possible for the Earth Warrior tier breakthrough to cause such a strong effect to the people around? Moreover, our cultivation level is higher than the princess. How can she affect us? Tang Zi raised her head. A few years ago, I was able to witness the battle of two warriors from Dark Warrior tier, and the storm caused by their battle did affect my inner qi as well. Apart from that incident, I have never experienced the same feeling anymore. Who knew how strong a Dark Warrior was? In the whole of Luyun Kingdom, Spirit Warrior tier was already considered as the strongest among others. What was the reason behind the princess' unusual breakthrough? Moreover, if I am not mistaken, Princess was still a beginner warrior lower tier 2 months ago, but now she's reached the Earth Warrior tier in one step. Don't you feel strange about it? Ling Yun bit her lips softly in hesitation. Then this incident, nobody is allowed to talk about this matter. If this incident is spread out, get ready to face military punishment. Tang Zi warned and glared coldly at the soldiers behind her. Her tone was stern when giving the command, "Send the princess back to her manor instantly." "I will report to His Majesty now." "Yes, Commander." Everyone responded in full respect. Tang Zi glanced at her people one more time before turning around. She disappeared like a gust of wind from the courtyard. Zheng He Hofeng Tianyu leaned against the headboard while an imperial physician checked his pulse. After a moment, the imperial physician frowned deeper as time passed. His old and aged face seemed helpless. When Feng Tianyu saw the imperial physician's facial expression, he had already predicted the outcome. His lip curved upwards a little. Imperial Physician Lu, I know my own body. Just give me hawthorn berries later, then you may leave. Imperial Physician Lu kneeled down with a thud. He sobbed, Your Majesty, you must not consume hawthorn berries anymore. Although it can replenish your energy and make you healthy in a short time, it comes with side effects. Your health will eventually deteriorate. Feng Tianyu frowned a little, but his voice remained indifferent. It doesn't matter, I will hold on for her as long as I can. If the people get to know that I have fallen sick, it will bring disaster to Luyun Kingdom. I am not willing to see Qing'er get hurt. In these past few years, his health had been deteriorating. He was aware of it. Everyone thought he was as fit as a fiddle, but it was only because of the hawthorn berries. After all, he could only live for a few more years. If he could hold on longer and do more work, perhaps he could avenge Yenner. He was willing to sacrifice anything as long as it was worth it. Your Majesty. Suddenly, a guard came in and reported to him respectfully, Commander of the Iron-Blooded Troop, Tang Zi, requests to meet Your Majesty. Feng Tianyu was startled. As he knew, Tang Zi had rarely left the small courtyard unless it was for a very important reason. Was it due to Qing'er? All of you can leave now. Let Tang Zi come in. He tried to sit up by holding onto the bed for support. He coughed a few times. The hawthorn berry he had last eaten had already lost its effect. So, he was unable to look as healthy as he usually was. Everyone bowed and left. Meanwhile, a person with a strong and heroic silhouette walked in from the entrance. She clasped her fists and bowed respectfully. Tang Zi has come to pay respects to Your Majesty. You can forego the formality. Feng Tianyu raised his hand once. Is there anything that you want to report to me? Your Majesty, just now. Princess Royal managed to break through Earth Warrior Tier An. I think her breakthrough situation was a bit unusual. That's why I have especially come to report it to Your Majesty in hopes that Your Majesty can advise me on this matter. Chapter 110. It was a huge embarrassment too soon after. Tang Zi mentioned a few changes in Feng Ruqing, especially the fact that she could make a breakthrough from beginner warrior tier to the earth warrior tier in as short as 2 months. Nobody could be this talented as she was. Feng Tianyu smiled slightly. I see. I also did not know that a breakthrough from beginner warrior tier to the earth warrior tier could have this much impact. It might be because of the talent possessed by Qing'er. By the way, I've had her tested when she was young, and she did have exceptional talent. However, Feng Ruqing met noble consort Rong, who had a great influence on her for 10 years when she reached the age suitable for training. She became vile under the control of noble consort Rong. Noble consort Rong even dismissed all the teachers sent by Feng Tianyu for Feng Ruqing. So, Feng Ruqing never did have any real training in all these years. Everyone thought that she was a nobody without any talent, but they did not know that she was an exceptional genius. She had just never trained seriously. My daughter will never be weaker than anybody. Feng Tianyu was filled with pride when he said this. Tang Zi did not say anything more. The princess is talented. She just never had any serious training, so nobody knows about her talent. The state preceptor, Nan Xian, mentioned before that Qing'er is talented. It's just that her talent and potential have not been fully discovered. He even predicted that Qing'er could grow and improve only when she has encountered a great incident when she is 16 years old. That's true. Qing'er nearly died when she turned 16. She has awakened now and became a different person. She's more sensible now. Feng Ruqing would be able to understand the reason that she was not doubted if she was here. It was only because of what the state preceptor had said before. Your Majesty, may I ask bluntly of the background of the state preceptor? The state preceptor. I don't know. He might be from a family which lives apart from the rest of the world. Of course, this is just my speculation. He came without any reason a few years ago. Feng Tianyu had great trust in Tang Zi, so he did not hide anything from her. But, I just have a kind of feeling that he came specially for Qing'er. Tang Zi was shocked and raised her head. For the princess. This is only a kind of feeling. I feel that he came for Qing'er. But, he did not have any contact with Qing'er these past few years. I thought that I was wrong until he took up Feng Ruqing as his disciple. Feng Tianyu then understood that what the state preceptor did was all for Qing'er. It was all for the princess who had changed when she encountered a great incident that year. Your Majesty, does the princess know about this? Qing'er doesn't have to know about this. I believe that the state preceptor means no harm. Feng Tianyu smiled and shook his head. But, the state preceptor said that Feng Ruqing's body is a little special. There might be a big problem if she drinks any wine. So, I have never allowed her to touch any wine no matter how much I love her. Tang Zi's face became so white. The princess. Is it true that she will be in great trouble if she drinks wine? No way. I must go to the princess manor. The princess cannot get into any trouble. Your Majesty, I need to return to continue my training. Please dismiss me. Go ahead. Feng Tianyu waved his hand and looked at Tang Zi when she left the place. He soon fell into deep thought. Tang Zi was in a rush the whole way to the princess manor. Her clothes were drenched in sweat and there was anxiety in her eyes. She did not inform His Majesty about that incident. It seemed that His Majesty was unwell these past few days, and she could not worry him more. She just hoped that she could get to the princess manor quicker to avoid any harm being inflicted upon the princess. Chapter 111. It was a huge embarrassment. Tang Zi heard a loud and shrill scream just as she reached the door of the princess manor. It made her so nervous that her legs shook and she nearly fell down. She did not wait any longer. She immediately rushed into the princess manor. She saw that Qingling was dressed shabbily from afar and was running away from the room with tears in her eyes. Tang Zi's face darkened. She ran into the room quickly. She saw that Ling Yun was sitting on the floor with a shocked expression. Beside her was Lu Li, who was hugging her own chest tightly. What happened? Tang Zi was so shocked that she did not know what had happened. Feng Ruqing came swiftly to stand in front of Tang Zi when Tang Zi was still recovering her senses. Feng Ruqing was standing there like a large mountain, and the other people had difficulty breathing. Beautiful, Feng Ruqing raised her hand to touch Tang Zi's chin. Can you sleep with me tonight? Tang Zi's face darkened even more. Is the princess drunk? Tang Zi, what should we do now? Ling Yun turned and looked at Tang Zi with a helpless face. I had just sent the princess back, and the princess soon woke up. I thought that she would be sober by now. But, I didn't know that she's still drunk, and she even humiliated 2 palace maids. Thinking of how Qingli had run away from the room crying, and looking at how Lu Li was hugging herself like that, Tang Zi walked forward and slapped Feng Ruqing hard on the back of her neck. Ling Yun was shocked. That's the princess. How could Tang Zi harm the princess? She was just there looking at how Feng Ruqing humiliated the 2 palace maids without being brave enough to interfere. What's more important now is to stop the princess from doing any more harm. Tang Zi held up the princess' body. Her facial expression was even worse now. Never let the princess drink any more wine from now on. Not even a single drop. Moreover, come and help me. The princess is too heavy. Okay. Ling Yun went forward and helped Tang Zi to hold Feng Ruqing's body up. They carefully put her on her bed. Tang Zi wiped at her own sweat. She turned and looked at Lu Li. "It'll be fine when she wakes up. Don't ever mention this incident to a soul." Luckily, the princess had only humiliated 2 palace maids. Her reputation would be affected if she had humiliated men. Indeed, Feng Ruqing could drink no more wine from now on. Lu Li nodded in tears. The reputation of the princess was protected. But, what about her reputation and Qing Ling's reputation? The time was late. Tang Zi gave a few orders before leaving the princess manor with Ling Yun. The moon was high up in the sky. The wind was blowing softly. The bed linen was blown, and it danced softly in the air. The girl who was sleeping soundly on the bed woke up and opened her eyes slowly. She rubbed her temples, and there was confusion in her eyes. Am I in the princess manor? Feng Ruqing still remembered that she wanted to drink wine with the people from the iron-blooded troop. But, she did not know that she would faint after drinking just a bowl of wine even when that wine was mixed with water. She was now in the princess manor after she woke up. Her face darkened. Now, I'm thoroughly embarrassed. I didn't know that my body cannot endure the effect of wine. I fainted just after a bowl of wine. That's just too embarrassing. How can I meet people from the iron-blooded troop in future? Fine. It's just that I'm unable to drink wine. That's not a big deal. She rubbed her temples again and sat up. She then frowned and shouted, "Qing Ling! Lu Li!" A deep silence. Where on earth are these 2 girls? They didn't even prepare a bowl of sobering soup for me. Chapter 112, Misfortune Comes Even When You Do Nothing. Feng Ruqing picked up the coat hanging beside her and walked out of the room when the 2 palace maids did not appear. The yard in the princess manor was quiet and serene. Qing Ling was sweeping the dried leaves in the yard. She raised her head and saw Feng Ruqing, who had just walked out of the room. Qing Ling was so scared that she shook fearfully and she dropped the broom in her hands. "Qing Ling." Feng Ruqing smiled and walked toward Qing Ling. Her smile was sweet, but it made Qing Ling so frightened that Qing Ling screamed, turned, and ran away. Feng Ruqing's face immediately darkened. Why did this girl run away when she saw me? Am I that frightening? Lu Li appeared in front of Feng Ruqing when her face was darkened. "Lu Li, you," Feng Ruqing shouted happily. Clink. Lu Li was so startled that she dropped the glass in her hand. She looked up anxiously and bit her lip. "Princess, you're awake." "Lu Li, what happened? Why do I feel that you're afraid of me?" Lu Li kept quiet. How should she reply? How could Qing Ling tell the princess that she tore their clothes like a beast just a few hours ago? Could Qing Ling say that she even humiliated them? Qing Ling could not bring herself to tell the truth. The truth was truly unspeakable. Moreover, what could be done even if Qing Ling told the truth? Did they want the princess to be responsible for it? Would His Majesty not just kill them instead? "Princess, Qing Ling and I were just frightened by the snow wolf today. We haven't recovered from that. Is little Wolfie that daring so as to bully you?" Feng Ruqing sneered and gnawed her teeth in anger. Just don't feed him the divine spirit fruit these few days. Give it a lesson. Feng Ruqing patted Lu Li's shoulder after this. The time is late. Stop cleaning up and go and rest now. This cleanliness of the princess manor was always the responsibilities of these 2 palace maids because Feng Ruqing did not hire any more palace maids. They were exhausted these past few days. It was time for her to hire more spirit beasts. The snow wolf was resting at the mountain when suddenly its nose was itchy, and it sneezed. It used its paws to rub at its nose. It felt that there must be somebody who was talking about it. It did not care about that much. It turned and continued to lie on the spirit herb farm. It hugged the divine spirit fruit tree, smiled in satisfaction, and continued its rest. The next day. The sunlight was warm and nice. The snow wolf turned, getting ready to wake up. Suddenly, a large face appeared in front of it. The face smiled at it. The snow wolf was so scared that it woke up quickly. Its paws were patting at its own chest to soothe the quickening heartbeat. The snow wolf was scared and frightened. There must be something wrong with this human. If not, why would her smile be so wicked? Little Wolfie, I heard that you bullied my palace maids. Feng-Ruching crossed her arms and looked down on the snow wolf. Her smile was bright like the sunlight. It made the snow wolf so scared that it had goosebumps. It sneezed. Bully people. How could I do that? Am not so daring and brave. Moreover, they're under the prince's protection. You're so honest to admit it. Then, it'll just stop you from eating the divine spirit fruit for 3 days only. The snow wolf was stunned. I admitted that I bullied the palace maids. When did I admit that? This vile human. How could she put words into my mouth, knowing that I cannot speak? The snow wolf was so angry that its fur stood on end. The spirit beasts around the place were frightened, and all of them came and stood around the snow wolf and Feng-Ruching. The spirit beasts looked at the snow wolf vigilantly. They were afraid that the snow wolf would attack Feng-Ruching. Chapter 113, Misfortune comes even when you do nothing too. Then, the snow wolf was so angry that it lay on the ground. It rolled around on the ground until its white fur was covered with dust and sand. Get up. Feng-Ruching felt that the snow wolf was embarrassing her. Her face darkened as she barked at the snow wolf. The snow wolf whimpered. Feng-Ruching's face darkened even more. She felt that this little wolf had now turned into a little dog. Although she loved small animals acting cute, it did not mean that she could bear how this little wolf was acting like a spoiled child. Little Wolfie, it'll give you a chance to make it up. Feng-Ruching glared at Snow Wolf for a long while, and suddenly she smiled and said, if you could help me with something, I'll not punish you this time. The Snow Wolf soon stopped rolling around and got up immediately. It looked at Feng-Ruching eagerly. Come. Go to the Beast Mountain with me. The Princess Manor was just too peaceful recently. Nobody had dared to come and disrupt the peace at the Princess Manor. Thus, the Snow Wolf's power was wasted. So, Feng-Ruching could not let this happen given that she fed the Snow Wolf with the divine spirit fruit every day. She must let the Snow Wolf do something for her. Feng-Ruching felt the presence of the 2 Imperial Guards just as she stepped out of the Princess Manor. She stopped, but did not turn to face them. The 2 of you can stop protecting me. I have the Snow Wolf with me. There's no danger. If you continue to follow me, they'll think that you're spying on me. No one could know what she was going to do next. So, she needed to dismiss the 2 Imperial Guards. Behind her, the 2 Imperial Guards were stunned. They turned to look at each other anxiously. What do we do now? The 1st Imperial Guards frowned and asked the 2nd Imperial Guard. The 2nd Imperial Guard looked at Feng-Ruching and the Snow Wolf and smiled helplessly. Nobody will dare to harm the princess with the Tier 3 spirit beast by her side in this imperial city. If we follow her forcefully, the princess might get angry. So, let's just head back to report to His Majesty. Although the princess had changed a lot recently, her temper was not good. They did not dare to infuriate her. The 2 Imperial Guards looked at each other. Then, they turned and headed back to the palace. Feng-Ruching had never left the imperial city since she was born. The 2 Imperial Guards just thought that Feng-Ruching was just walking around in the imperial city. They did not know that Feng Ruching was going to leave the imperial city to go to the forest of spirit beasts. The forest of spirit beasts was large, and it linked 6 kingdoms together. Luyun Kingdom was situated at the east of the forest of spirit beasts. Feng Ruching could only go to the outer area of the forest with her strength and ability now. If she stepped into the depths of the forest, not even the Tier 3 Snow Wolf could protect her. However, the outer area of the forest was as large as the imperial city. It seemed that the number of spirit beasts in the mainland was high. Snow Wolf, the success lies in you this time. Feng Ruching smiled and patted the Snow Wolf's head. After that, Feng Ruching took down the chair on the Snow Wolf's back. At the same time, she also took out a roll of paper. A loud and ferocious roar was heard not far away. That roar increased Feng Ruching's heart rate. But she was not afraid. She was just excited. She smiled and sat down cross-legged. She looked at the silhouette that was running fast toward her. A leopard was seen running at lightning speed and entering Feng Ruching's sight in the midst of a strong wind. The leopard was ferocious. It seemed that Feng Ruching's presence was unwelcomed here. Soon, the leopard stood before Feng Ruching. You're tuning into the LoveLore Library YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.